Welcome to the Early Morning Light Podcast. I'm your host, Tracy Early, and on this podcast, I share life-changing tips, tools, information, motivation, and inspiration to bring light to your life as you tune in to the Early Morning Light Podcast. And yes, I know it has been a while since I've posted the podcast or an episode, and I apologize for that. Life has happened, but I'm back, and I'm excited about this upcoming year. Yes, it is we're less than 2 days away from 2025. And while I am not one of those people who really geeks out on New Year's resolutions and feels like I have to have this drawn out, elaborate plan for a resolution, there are some key areas of focus. That's what I like to call it, areas of focus that I like to focus in on as I begin each year. Now, I know I said I'm not a New Year's resolutioner, but I do like new beginnings. I'm one of those people who likes the start of a year. I like new beginnings, which, are opportunities to start again with something, whatever that may mean for you. So today I want to talk about just how I'm going to approach this new year, starting in less than 2 days. Yes, we're down to less than 2 days before 2025. And I know there's a lot going on in the world, around the world, in your life, in my life. But I just want to briefly, and this is going to be relatively short, I want to share 5 areas of focus that I tend to focus on each year. And this changes a little bit, but for the most part, for the last 20 plus years, these have been the key areas for me that I like to focus on. And as I focus in on these this year, my goal is to focus on being more intentional in each of these areas. So that, I don't know about you, but that word intentionality it's just a powerful word. I mean, it just doing things on purpose with intention. I'm at a phase or a point in my life where I want to be intentional about the things that are important to me. And I know that probably resonates with some of you as well. So the areas that I want to focus on this year, I'm going to focus on, not wanna, I'm going to do it starting tonight, are the areas of, the first area would be faith. I'm going to be more intentional about how I connect with God, how much time I spend on my faith, in my faith walk. And if that doesn't resonate for you, whatever your sense of spirituality or faith is, go for it. But for me, I am Christian, and my goal, my plan, my commitment is to be more intentional with my faith, be more intentional with how much time I spend studying God's word, be more intentional about how much time I spend fellowshipping with other believers, including my family and other people who are around me in my job and places like that. I want to be way more intentional than I was last year about that area of faith. The other area that I focus on, because this is one that's important to me, is my family. Now, obviously, I start with my immediate family because that's who I'm with most of the time. My wife, my beautiful wife, my 2 boys who are now 20 and 23. I know you look at me and you're thinking there's no way he could have a 23-year-old and a 20-year-old, but that's true. That's just how old they are. and that's okay. I'm getting older, wiser, and I'm feeling pretty good. So I'm okay with that. So in terms of family and being more intentional, I mean, just being more intentional about the quality time that I spend with each of the family members that are important to me, spending time in their world, getting to know more about and tune in more to what's going on with them, be more intentional about how I love on them, how I express my love for the people in my family who I'm connecting with. So I want to be way more intentional about that. I'm not being very specific right now with these areas because I'm still kind of deciding what I'm going to focus on specifically with each one of them. But I wanted to hit you with this now because we're less than 2 days from the new year, and just kind of, give you an idea of how I begin to focus. Now, over the next week or so, I will be more specific about each one of these areas and start setting goals for the year around these areas. Nothing super drawn out, just areas of focus, like I said, with some specific things that I want to focus on. The next area is the area of fitness. And when I say fitness, I mean my own personal fitness. That is working out more consistently. That has been an area that there's times when I've fallen off a little bit this year. So I want to be more intentional about planning that time in. At my age, it's important that I'm getting adequate and substantial physical activity throughout the week. And there's things that I have done throughout the year, but I haven't been as consistent as I want to be with those areas, and it's just become more important. I feel better when I'm more active. I feel better when I'm an active exerciser, when I'm really focused in and being intentional about that. So I want to be more intentional about that. And along with fitness, or another thing that fits in there is just how I take care of my nutrition and how I eat and how much water I drink and all those things that we know are important. So again, I'm gonna fine tune these things over the next week, and I'll have more to share on that in a future episode. The next area is finances, and that is one of the more challenging areas, I think, for a lot of us. So I want to be more intentional about being a better steward of the resources financially that God has trusted us with. So I want to, be more intentional about how I spend and how I save and how I invest and those types of things. I'll get more specific about that later. So we got faith, family, fitness, finance. And then the last area that I will focus on is, I like to call it future growth and preparation for future growth. And that just means my own personal development and being more intentional about the information that I take in, what I read, the trainings that I attend, the things that I'm studying outside of the Bible, and putting myself in situations to grow, to take in more information that will be helpful for me in terms of my own future growth. So if you've got any recommendations for books or trainings or anything like that, that you want to throw my way, feel free. If we are connected in any way, send me that information. I am open. I don't have all the answers or all the ideas for what to do in each of these areas, so I'm always open. So those are my areas of focus that I want to focus on as we head into 2025. Man, that just sounds like a big year, and I'm excited about this upcoming year. There's a lot of things coming up. There's things going on, in my life and, through me and people around me that are exciting. And I can't wait to see how these things come to fruition. But I'm going to be more intentional about each of these areas. So if you're in my life and you see me regularly, it's okay to check in with me on any of these areas and maybe even ask me, how are you being intentional about whatever area you want to ask me about? Because I think that brings a level of accountability to these areas of focus that is helpful for me. So I welcome that. And I also want to encourage you to take some time as you are preparing for these next couple of days going into 2025. And, if you don't have it all ironed out by January 1st, I'm not a big believer in that. It can be a work in progress until you have it ready within that first couple of weeks. So give yourself some flexibility in that area. But I just encourage you to take some time to be more intentional, there's that word again, about the areas you're going to focus on over this next year and just see what that does for your progress in each one of these areas. So again, I said I was going to keep this one short. I want to be more consistent this year. That's another area with the podcast. So look forward to that. Thank you for tuning in to the Early Morning Light podcast. I hope this has brought some light to your life in these few minutes that I've been speaking today. And I look forward to connecting with you over this year 2025. Talk to you soon.